Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're looking back at all the club action over the weekend, and there was loads of games and teams all playing at the weekend. As usual, this podcast is brought to you in association with McKeever's Teamwear, proud suppliers of all Armagh GA merchandise. I'm delighted to be joined once again by Tommy Coleman, and we're going to look back at all the action from the weekend. And there's only one place to start, and it was the big game live on Armagh TV from the weekend in the Division 1A league, and it was Modern against Crossmaglen. Tommy, Modern were out of it at half time. From my view of it, they were 5 points down, not playing overly well. Crossmaglen had pushed up right on their kickouts, and Modern were really struggling to win the ball in the middle of the field. And they turned it around. Dara McMullen and Conor Grimley were outstanding in the second half. And McMullen he maybe got a point, but his work rate and he just directed the traffic the whole way through the game, dictated the play, and Grimley landed some outrageous scores, and they turned it around and won, and it was a huge win for Modern.
Yeah, I think we both sort of went for Modern last week. We thought it was maybe, it's come of a time where they're at the age now, the profile's all right, everything's right for them, and it's now's the time to push on. They've got a good, strong panel after winning the under 20s this year, and now they have to, at some point, you have to start believing in yourselves. And I think, hopefully for them, this will be the springboard, for them to give them their self belief. Now we're up with here. We can do this, and we can push on. As you said, there was a couple of phenomenal performances within the Modern team. See, Conor Grimley scored 0.7, and that's a great tally in any game, especially when you're going in and you're playing against the Cross. And I would say that's Modern's first. I wouldn't have the statistic, but it's been a long time for Modern will it be across McLean in any competition. I think it's at senior level anyway. So for them to get that. That there will give. They'll only make. They'll go from strength to strength now. I would say from this year they'll not get carried away, but now they know that they can do it, and they can start bringing that into their game. And the sky's the limit for this Modern side. I've seen them at their best, and I know how good they can be. And as I say, I keep saying it. How difficult it was for us. We couldn't handle them at all in the league last year. And if they can bring that sort of form and bring it into the championship and build on it, and they're a good outfit now. There's no question about it.
And I think Cross were missing a lot of players too, the likes of the county men obviously, but even the likes of Stephen Morris, Keelan Dillon, a few of their big names. But they still carry that aura that it still means something no matter what Cross team you've out. Like it was a huge win for Modern just to get beaten Crossmaglen.
Okay, yeah, and that's the thing, when Crossmaglen, they've earned that, they've earned that respect over the years. Such a great club. But every time they go out, anybody who's playing them, if you manage to beat them, it's a great scalp for you. That's just the aura that they bring with them, and all them lads that put on that short, believe in themselves, and and the club's a great club, and they go out and play for the short every single time. So. No, that's Cross. Well, they'll not be disillusioned about it, and I suppose the longer term they're still planning and looking ahead. But you see, the election Stephen Morris' name hasn't played. I don't think Stephen's playing anything this year or not. I don't know why he's injured or what's happening, but certainly they'll get from strength to strength. And when the county boys come back and be able to start building and working their way towards the championship, I'm sure that's where their goal will be as well. So, it's a great win for Modern, and to say Cross, they go out and they play to win every game that they can. But I think now that they've now a couple of players coming back in, we'll probably be talking about that there shortly, and they're not before away.
Well, you touched on it, Tommy, and we'll have to bring it up. There's no point in talking about who they're missing. There was a big addition to the subs bench. He wasn't togged out. He didn't play, but Jamie Clark's back. He was back on the subs bench for Crossmaglen. He's back doing a bit of training with the team, and he hasn't played. I don't think he's played since, we played for Armagh in 2020. So 2 years out of the game, it'll probably take him a wee while to get back. But what a huge addition for Crossmaglen. He'd probably get a few league games and that under his belt in the next few weeks, and we'll keep an eye on that. But I mean, come championship, you're looking at a forward line that could possibly hold the two O'Neills, Cian McConville and Jamie Clark.
Yeah, it's just when I heard about it at the weekend, I was just saying to myself, thank God he didn't decide to come back last year. You know, it's what if, you know, what he'll bring, and you know, and obviously he's been out of the game for 2 years. It's going to take him a while to get back in, and it'll be interesting to see what height he get. I don't think anybody would expect him to go to the same level as where he was 6 or 7 years ago, but he'll certainly be a phenomenal for any club footballer. You know, for any team with just open arms, having a man of his talent coming in. You know, he's so streetwise. He'll know every move. He'll be able to bring boys into the game. He's not a marquee forward. He can take scores, and he's class. He uses class, and you know, what a boost for Crossmaglen to have him back. And as I say, you know, if you're going to sit down and you're in the championship and you're marking out, you're plotting out where you're going to go and who's going to be picking up who, it gives you an awful lot of problem. You're going to have to get another good defender from somewhere to go man to man on Jamie. That's the way it is. Like, and he's some addition. Like, and you know, of all, you know how class he is. But you know, I remember the day I went up to Thurles and I watched him, and he was surrounded by Tipperary players in the box, and he just had the presence and the sense. And you know, we're all people that took the ball and maybe tried to turn around or tried to drive it through players. Slapped the ball inside, followed it into the net. I don't think it was no forward in Ireland would have done it at the time, and that's what Jamie has. You know, when you're bringing that there, and that craft will never be lost. Why he has the legs again or the pace or whatever it is, you know, that'll remain to be seen. But certainly what he has upstairs and what way he's able to move the ball and his vision, that will not be impaired whatsoever at all. And what an addition for Crossmaglen.
I think for the neutral, it'll be class to see him back, as long as, you know, Ballymcnabb Clonard don't make crossing the first round of the championship. You don't want to be meeting him then. But for a neutral, we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and we'll be bringing updates hopefully over the next couple of weeks if he gets game time or what way he's shaping up. Elsewhere then, Tommy, in Division 1A, Clonard had an impressive win away to the Harps was on Saturday evening as well. An impressive and an important win, I suppose, for Clonard, and they were a point down at half time, and they were fit to turn it round then and win by 2 points.
Yeah, look, we came up, and as I said, spoke that my head was, as I said, my head was saying Harps, but you know, my heart was with the club and always will be, and I went for the club. And you know, we had 8 men missing from the starting team in the championship last year. There was 8 men missing, and plus Jack Conlon, that he picked up an injury during the week, and he's been our best player this year, and he didn't play either. So you know, we were sort of down. There was a lot of young lads we just threw in there, and you know what, they played the short off their backs, and you know, and they were playing again a good, experienced Harps side. You know, Joe McElroy was playing, Dackie McKenna, Charlie Fern, Tom O'Kane. You know, and there was a lot of experience in them. Joe McElroy was superb, I thought, on the night. You know, I found it very difficult to get a hand on him. You know, his runs from deep right up. You know, he was able to penetrate our defence at all times and move it off. And Hearts, you know, for looking at them, just on the night, they lacked a marquee forward, somebody who could take the scores, but the chances were raised, and they did. They kicked a few. I have to say, kicked a few wides. That, you know, they'll probably look back on it and say themselves, you know, we kicked ourselves out of that there. But when they got to go, you know, things were looking bad sort of for Clonard, and you know, the moving themselves by 5 in front of that there stage. But you know, lads just dug in for Clonard and just kept moving on at the ball, and Daggy lead them and was making some great runs from defence. But Sean McCarthy in particular was outstanding at centre half. Not only was he picking up Tom O'Kane, but he was also able to drive forward and link the play in with the forwards. And we ended up we got a great move down through the middle, and young Daggy Malone in his first year senior football was able to score the goal just before half time, and brought the game back to a point in it for the Hearts. Second half, we turned it around again. We're sort of going point for point. And and the Harps were 2 in front, and so we 15 it up. And to be honest, the Harps looked the more likely at that their stage, and Dackie McKenna got red carded for an incident, and that there sort of changed the complexion of the game a bit. Dackie was cutting out a lot of balls. He does at centre half, the player that he is. And, he was at that time was a loss. We were able to the young lads were able to capitalise on. Thought they were great, and we pushed on. We got ourselves in front. We were a point in front, and it was 4 minutes left on the clock. Because it was just a fair. Then we missed the free. We're still a point in it. The Hearts went up. They got a free kick. Ball went in. The Hearts man went up, hit it, and then he hit it again. The ball went out. The ball was given for a 50. Much to the annoyance of the Clonard crowd, and I think, to be honest, the bewilderment of some of the Harps boys that was there, but the umpire must have seen something that the rest of us didn't. They got the 50, and Dingle Daly came up and stroked it beautifully, just straight over the black spot. It was sweet as a 50 as you'd ever see, and we were sort of disappointed after all the hard work that the place put in. I thought that was that. There was 2 minutes left. Hopefully we were going to hang on for the draw. I suppose we were a bit deflated, but look, them lads of ours just don't know when they're beaten, and they just didn't accept it. And it's just like reminiscence of last year, where they just drove on and got the scores, and got two great scores at the end, won by 2 points. Well, Sean McCarthy was a standard defence. Daggy Leatham, Owen McCaffrey, that's his first game back from injury, so that's a good way. It was a lad that we brought on in the championship last year. He was only out of minor last year, and this is the second year out. This first game back after he picked up an injury in the Macquarie Cup, and it was actually with Armagh in the 20s, and he picked up an injury there. So that's his first game back, and he was tremendous for us in the middle of the field. Went through an awful lot of work for such a young lad, and the 2 lads up front, Ian McConville and Rory McDonald, had great games, got some great scores. It's just great to see them coming into a bit of form. Aidan's been playing fairly well. Rory hasn't been doing a whole lot, but Rory showed his mettle there on Saturday night, and now seeing a bit of what Rory McDonald can do, and all positive for us was Daniel McGee came on and played his first game in 4 matches. Came on and played the last 10 minutes for us and scored the last point. So, things maybe hopefully making a turning point for us. But again, it's another win away from home. And, as we said last, we don't know, you try to build the thing in for home, and make your home ground a fortress. But maybe just with such a young side, you just was here for letting them go out and enjoy themselves, and let them build that up naturally rather than try and drive it home, because we're on the road there, and there doesn't seem to be any pressure. People maybe not expecting them to do too much, and they're playing really well. And that's 6 played, 3 at home, lost 3 away from home, and and the away from home match is more easy. You have Madden, Greenmore, and the Hearts now. So that's 3 good wins, and not to preview next week, but if you can get over the line next week, it will be a great win, and we'll put them in a good place going into the second half of the year.
Yeah, we're coming up to the halfway point, Tommy, and I suppose that moves us into our next game, Drummondhee and Greenmore. Drummondhee won 2-14 to 2-9, 2 late goals secured this game for Drummondhee, and 2 big points for Drummondhee. But I suppose for Greenmore, we are getting to that halfway stage. They've played 6 games, they've drew 1 and lost the other 5. It's just getting to the stage you're getting desperate for points now. You're going to have to start picking up points somewhere. It's going to be, a long second half of the league.
Yeah, that's it. I know I looked and seen that result, and I said to myself, God, Greenmore is going to, it's going to be a real hard struggle the second half of the year for them there. As I think we talked earlier on, if you do get detached from the crowd, if you're falling 4 points, 5 points behind from the main group, it's always going to be an uphill battle. It means there's not a lot of room for error come the second half of the year. I think reading the report and going bad all Graham Moore had been going regularly, and 2 late goals from Hughes and McArdle. I think McArdle's came last kick at the ball to seal it off. So maybe there is been an improvement in Graham Moore, and maybe they have got a couple of the players back. But then I suppose Drummond haven't been going so sweet themselves this year either, and it was a match there with, I suppose, they had to win. Drummond were at home and they had to win that one, or they could have been the first way around. It could have been themselves would have been looking and going at the wrong end of the table. But the next couple of matches are critical for both them sides, and in particular Graham Moore. And you have to say at this time, at this stage of the game, you're hitting the halfway mark and you're sitting to just 1 point. It's a long way ahead of you, and especially when you look, Graham Moore maybe have a few boys that's injured to come back, but the way things are going with the county, but don't know, other teams could have their county men back sooner rather than later. We hope later, but you don't know. But if you have them sooner, it's only them teams ahead of them are only going to get stronger squads, and it doesn't look good for them.
On the last game in Division 1A, then Clevie beat Mahary 110 to 0-8 on Sunday. So tell me, we'll move on to Division 1B then, with Ballymacnab and Sarsfields was probably the pick of the games, but there were 4 really even games. Ballymacnab, I suppose from a Ballymacnab point of view, this was a huge 2 points to pick up. We were 4 points down at half time. We were shockingly bad in the first half. I don't think any of the boys would mind me saying that, but turned it around well. We got a good goal in the second half, a good team goal. Jamie Gray bushed up the field and played through Paul Megan, who slotted it into the back of the net. So a big 2 points. Sarsfields are a great side, a really good side. Paul McGowan is as tough as good a full forward as there is probably in that division, and give our defence a really tough time. I think he got 7 points in the end. So a good 2 points for Ballymacnab, and they remain unbeaten now after 3 games.
Yeah. But I said you last week, I fancy just to win that one. Sarsfields are a good side, and there's some, the McGillans, the McAlittons, them boys are all good footballers, and they can take a score. Thomas McAlitton be up around that there front part too. He's quite capable of a lot of scores on his day too. So they're not that bad a side, and they can move the ball well. I don't know what way they've been playing recently. You've seen them. I haven't got to see them this year. I don't know whether they got that way more defensive or not, but they were always renowned around this part of the county and throughout the county for their fast flowing football and how quick they play the ball, and how forward the way they run with them. We're always a delight to watch. I remember playing against them boys years ago, and you don't have to, if they got a free kick, you don't have to taunt you back because it's gone. It was gone away, and they were that quick of thinking. And that a lot of their uncles and things, so that's who it's all. Them lads are all playing there in Ireland. It's the same sort of mindset. So they won that Division 2A last year, and that wasn't an easy division to win either. And they're a good side, and they will pick up a lot of points as they go along. There's no doubt about that there.
And that was evident, just as you say that, Tommy. The quick freeze was something that we were asleep on a couple of times. Paul McGowan, you assume Paul McGowan, big left foot on him, he's going to shoot, but no, he plays a quick 1-2 and he's in closer to the goal and has an easier shot. That must be something Sarsfields always do. They always work on that.
Something that's been bred into them from they were 78 years of age. Whoever takes it over, that's the way they've been. They've always played that their way, and it's delightful to watch the time. And if you switch off, you have to keep your focus the whole game when they're on it, and they'll look for it, and they'll just give that wee dinky ball, and they'll go again. They'll take it and find the opening and take the score, and that's been going on there for years. And as I say, if you take your eye off them for 1 minute, they'll slip in, and they're quite easy to get it. If the goal's on, they'll go for the goal. Like that's the race. Get a scent of it at all. They'll sniff it out. They'll go for it. And some, as I said, they have some real good footballers. Some real good. They have good forwards that can take scores. So I there's no doubt about it. And May and the end of it, I know they'll be up at the right end of the table. And when we talk about who's going down and whatever, that they're not being it. They're a senior team and a good senior team at that.
And we'll turn our attentions then to the bottom of the table. Tell me, there was a big 2 points on offer here between Pearse Óg and Care Cruppen. And Cruppen just edged it, they won by 4 points. A good 2 points to pick up, a huge 2 points probably in the grand scheme of things, that beating the Oaks, and particularly for Cruppen away from home. And just a positive for the Oaks, Anto Duffy was back, Paul Duffy was back, and Anto got their goal. But a good 2 points for Care Cruppen away from home and gets them off the mark for the season.
Yeah, it'll be coming off the back of the Mullabon performance as well. They only beat by 2 points the previous week, and they're going in with really, I think it was said last week, whoever lost this match was going to be in big trouble, and we haven't changed my mind about that. There, this win will give Care Cruppen some sort of a foothold and a chance to say, right, this maybe for something to build on. Again, their next couple of matches are going to be critical for them. They'll have to build on that, because if they don't, gaps going to appear between the teams again, and you're going to have a bottom four start to establish, and out of that 3 out of that 4 is going to go down, and the turning point is going to be the next, when we're getting this halfway, it's going to be the next couple of games. It's going to sort that out. So the Oaks, fair play to Anto and Paul Duffy back again, and the service that they've given, and obviously we've seen the way Shorty and the way things have been going for them, and they've come back and they've given the boys, it's a marked improvement to where they've been. They've just been beaten by the 5 points as something else. Obviously the 2 boys will have to get, if they're going to sweat, they're going to hang about hopefully for Shorty. They're going to need a few more games and a bit more training under the belt, and the longer they're there, the better, of course, the Pearse Ógs will get, because they're more key players. They've always have been. They're Paul and all those, but they're both of them's county class, and that's when they're there, the war, and the Oaks really need that there at the moment, and hopefully they'll get that and get a few performances and get a couple of points on the board somewhere along the line.
And then the other 2 games in 1B, Clonagale beat Grange 1-14. Molly Lennon got the crucial goal in that game. And Silverbridge remain on top. They beat Cullyhanna on Sunday, 0-15 to 110. Tommy, we'll move on to Division 2A then. And I suppose the big result here was St. Peter's and Whitecross. Not a surprise that St. Peter's won, but I suppose the margin was the big thing. 18 points is a huge victory for St. Peter's and Whitecross, just not motoring well at this stage.
No, it did not. It seemed to be, this last few weeks, it seemed to have been struggling there. And, for the Peters to put up 219, where previously they've been only scoring, involved in the games, have all been low scoring games. I mean, the matches that they've won have been 9-8 and 8-7, and the draw last week was, I think it was 10-8 or something. There haven't been a big lot of scores, and then to come out and put on 219 yesterday, that was a big change. We don't know why it was a change on the tactics of the Peters being more forward, or Whitecross, just where Whitecross were at and who was there with Whitecross. We don't know why I had injuries or what, but it was a big win. And just say we'll give the credit to the Peters now. Craney scored a goal, and young Eugene Dorn got the other goal from half back. So that's it's a real good win, a real good morale boosting win, and it puts the Peters back up there alongside Shane O'Neill's, and that's just where the Peters will want to be. They'll want to keep pressing on, because I'm sure they'll want to get back into senior football again next year.
And as usual, we're recording on a Monday night, and there's always a game on a Monday night. It seems to be always St. Paul's playing on a Monday night there, facing Tullysorn at the minute. I'm hoping you have a bit of an update, Tommy, or maybe a full-time result.
Tullysorn's won by 2 points. It seemed to be, I was getting the scores coming in. I was trying to just see who was scoring, who was that, but it seemed to be nip and tuck up and down the field, and Tullysorn they just scored the last couple of points. So that's a good win for Tullysorn. That'll keep them. So you're talking Shane's, St. Peter's and Tullysorn up the top. Then the Tones, I think, will come in next, and then St. Paul's and Annickmore, and then Whitecross, But again, Whitecross, 6 matches is halfway. And this one, Whitecross have already played 5, and they've only got 1 point. You have 7 matches left. You're going to have to win at least 4, 5 of them, if you have any chance of staying in there. You know, it's a big ask this year at this stage. So it is.
It is. It's just catching up on teams. I think it has just come around so quickly. I know myself, it has probably just come around so quickly that we're nearly halfway through the league, and I'm sure teams feel the same, that you're nearly rushing now. You have to pick up points somewhere.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for TUA. You know, TUA there's only with the extra team and the 1B this year, and they only got 7 teams. You know, it really is cutthroat, and it's very unfortunate for Whitecross. You know, and you know, you have to feel sorry for them, but the football can be cruel, and that's the way we're going to go this year. And you know, 2 going down out of it, and as you said, like, there's only 7 matches left. You know, realistically, you're going to have to win. You're going to have to win 5 out of that 7. That's going to be a big ask. A big ask for any team in that division. You know, I'm just saying Whitecross, because it's so competitive and so tight. You know, and every week, like, it's hard to call. You know, there's not a whole lot in it, and on any given day, anybody can beat everybody. So it's not impossible for Whitecross, but it's going to be a massive ask for them.
Huge uphill battle for the next couple of weeks. The Tones, they won on Sunday as well. They beat Annaghmore 1-11 to 8 points. Keelan Farrell got the all important goal there.
It was a good win.
A good win for the Tones, Tommy.
You know, I thought that would have been tight. Actually, it was thought Annaghmore made it just dead stand after their confidence built and win against Shane O'Neill's. But it's a fairly good comfortable win for the Tones area. Fair play in there. Like, you know, it was the win by 6 points there. That's, you know, I'm sure Peter were well pleased, and it puts them sitting there in the halfway mark and still within striking reach at the top of the table.
And then Division 2B, I suppose Tiernogue, we're going to talk about them, Tommy. They beat College Lawn 4-12 to 1-9. Just another eye-catching performance from Tiernogue. They're going from strength to strength every week. We're sort of talking about them. I'm not saying we're waiting for them to slip up, but the way they're playing, their scores they're putting up, they've started this season like a house on fire. They've started with a bang.
They've only lost the first game, I think, and then after that, and that was to Cullaville.
Yeah. So,
you know, and that didn't even tell the whole story, as I said, that the man sent off that day. So things they're looking up there, and they're a good spread of scores too. See, Paul Kjorville, he must be, I think he's near 90 now, isn't he? He got a goal for them, and then the other lads were young lads like young Colin, Connor McCormick, and Leo Monterio. And it's good to see Leo back. Leo hadn't played for a year or 2, and he was in that Hogan Cup winning team with St. Roland's, full forward, a hell of a good player. And you know, he had a few injury problems, that lad. They can keep him fit and get going. You know, he's a hell of a full forward to have. So it's brilliant to see Tiernogue striving on and getting these results. And I said, you know, this year division might just be the catalyst for them to go and build on. You know, there's a couple of good teams in here yet. I suppose we'll touch on them as where we are. But you know, they'll want to build for this year, have a crack at the championship, and then see where they go on from that there. But from where they were going from last year, when things didn't look so good, they've went right. They've got these young players all back in. They're keen to play. They want to play for a club. And, you know, as I said, you get the like Leo and the boys like that, they're coming back in. It's just terrific for them. And hopefully, as I said, they'll continue, and about something for us to watch over the next few weeks. It's just to see, can they keep that there going? But there's no reason why not to. You know, they're young and they're enthusiastic, and you know, if you can stay injury free, that'll be the key for them. You know, that they'll be able to. Hopefully, they'll push on.
And Katie, they earned their second win in a row. They beat Clonmore, and as far as I know, Tommy, Katie are missing up to maybe 10 starters. So that's a big win for them. I know Clonmore certainly aren't at full strength either. They're missing a lot of men. So this is just the case, I suppose, with every team, with every game. It's whoever can win these games when the teams are down men. It's big 2 points to pick up.
Oh, it is. Katie's always a hard place to go to win anyway. You know, you never do get it easy there. But, you know, when you look at all these teams and you look at all the injuries that everybody has, you have to wonder and question, are they doing too much training? What is going on? Are they putting too much demand on lads' bodies, or what way? Somewhere along the line we'll have to look at it all, because the amount of injuries that's going through all the clubs is shocking, and then sometimes I used to scratch my head and say, Tommy's injured again. Is he injured or is he sore? Because back in our day, if you were sore, you played. If you were injured, you didn't play. And if I was to play, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of boys around my age would have said the same thing. If I were to play in the matches that we were sore in, we wouldn't have played in half the games. You know what I mean? That's a fact. So I don't know. That's maybe a combination of both, but there is an awful lot of injuries there, and I wonder, is it demands that's put on them in training and stuff, or are they getting enough rest in between games, or and in between training sessions? I don't know, but again, boys are down at so many players through injury. You're always going to one or two down, but you're 10 down. Like as we say, we have a load of injuries ourselves in our own club. Like I'm not passing on anybody else's club. That's the way it is. I think in general in football, and it's something I think we need to look at.
It seems to be the case. Any team I'm talking to, anybody from any team I'm talking to, the amount of men missing through injuries and whatever else, it's been the story of the league so far, I suppose.
It is, surely, yeah. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm totally way off the mark. I don't know, but I look at it. I think recovery sessions are something very, very is important. There's a lot of things that we did do. We done a lot of that there to make sure boys have recovered before we went back into 10-hour session again, because I just think if you're constantly tiling people, it's going to make wear and tear on their body, and God, to have 10 people out there, it's massive, and you look at the luck of our own club. They went to Christmas last year, and then a couple of weeks later, then you're starting getting into pre-season again, and boys didn't get much of a rest either, and bodies are brown, supposed to be young bodies too, and still developing, and it's tough on them, but hopefully we're coming out of the silent there, and we're getting more used to it, and better weather coming in. Hopefully we'll be able to curtail them injuries and push on.
I think what usually happens, Tommy, the good weather comes in and the championship starts, and then the injuries clear up. Not usually the tail.
It's funny when you're sore and the championship match is coming up, you're all right.
That's usually how it works out.
I wet this match. I don't really going up a wet Crossmaglen on a Sunday afternoon is not that appealing. Shirts and that in the league.
So the other two results then in Division 2B, Forkhill and Crossmaglen played, and Crossmaglen won by 1 point, 16-15, and Blakely kept their winning streak going. They won 2-13-0-7 against Ballyhagan.
Well, it was 2 late points, I think, from Crossmaglen, got them over the line. I was a tight affair, and Blake's going well. That's 4 out of 4 for them too. They're right up there with Colleville, so they're sailing along nicely, and to come up out of junior and hold their own, no problem in that their division. So it's great work been done there. Be interesting there. Hopefully to see them Blake maybe 10-0 and Colleville and Blake coming up soon, and we'll see what way that goes.
And then in the junior division, Tommy, Division 3, we built this up as going to be one of the games of the week, and it turned out to be anything but. It was Eire Og and Derrynoosh. Derrynoosh won 2-11 to 2 points. Eire Og, I'm not sure, maybe you can fill me in on what happened with Eire Og. Didn't score in the first half, only got 2 points in the second half. At home, they hadn't been beaten. They'd won 5 out of 5. Derrynoosh, obviously one of the promotion pushers as well, along with Eire Og and a couple of other teams. But a hugely impressive performance, I suppose, from Derrynoosh, and Eire Og will be hugely disappointed.
Yeah, it was one of the games I would have went to, but I was away all day yesterday and I couldn't go to it. But I actually fancied Eire Og to win it. But I think I said at the time, I wouldn't be surprised if Derrynoosh had won that game. But I have to say, I was shocked when I seen the scoreline. Full credit to Derrynoosh. They've come up, they've knocked in 2-11 to 0-2. They've just totally and utterly suffocated Eire Og, and went on and they've went about their business and executed very, very good. And Paul Doyle will be a very happy man there last night. As for Eire Og, I don't know, some days it just doesn't happen for you. And, you're playing at home and, the expectation there that could be sitting on the shoulders of a lot of young players there as well. And, building them up, we're going to do this year, and this is our big one today. And they just weren't ready for it there yesterday. And maybe a lot of them froze and, in the first half, and they never even got a score, never even raised the white flag. And just the occasion just might have got them, and people have to remember that too. When you're blooding young lads in, they're going to have off days, and sometimes you're just better off being a wee bit, maybe a bit more relaxed going into your games and not building it up to be what it is, and just let the lads go and play their football and enjoy their football and see what the result is. And maybe hopefully, look, there's nothing wrong with getting beaten as long as you learn what went wrong and you go to work on it this week, and you park it, just park it, the bad day at the office, and see where you went wrong, push you on, because you don't become a bad team overnight. And they've had good wins. It's not that they've been beating the also runs in the league. They've been beating teams that's up to the right end. That they beat St Michael's as well. There's another teams going very, very well at the moment. And it's just probably it's been, as we said, we built it up as a top of the league class, and maybe the young lads got wind of it all, and it's been a big occasion for them, and they just on the day they froze and they just didn't perform. And they say, to park it, learn from it, and move on. And I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll pick themselves up and get going again.
And you mentioned St Michael's there. They've been doing really good. They had two tough games to start with. They drew with Derrynoosh the first day, or beat them the second. But they've went in a 4-game winning streak now. They beat Portmore there on Sunday 3-9 to 11 points, again away from home. So they're in good form at the minute.
Yeah, on Portmore is a tight wee pitch to go to, and it's hard to get a result on Portmore. It's not easy, and they had scored 3 goals there yesterday, and 3 different goal scorers as well. Adrian Davison and Brian Kehardy and Dara Kiar. So, they've got a good mix of scores, and obviously they're playing a good brand of football. And as I say, I've been at Portmore a few times myself, and I know it's not easy to get a result in it. So, fair play to St Michael's. They've got, as you say, they've got the 2 big ones out of the other 2 that played them already. So they've got a run of matches here and get themselves, in a real good position to strike, and when the second half of the league comes round again. So they're going along nicely. They'll be very, very happy with what they have.
And Tommy, we sometimes look for a performance of the week or a big scorer of the week. We've won this week from the Summon, and they beat Clevey 117 to 111. I think the score was. Stephen Matthews scored 112 for them. I think he got 1-5 from play. So 1-12 on any day is huge scoring for a forward, and I'm sure Stephen Matthews is delighted with that himself. But what a scoring tally to bring in one game!
I don't think I ever scored 112 in the whole career. Many odd years. That's phenomenal. And fair play to Stephen. Away from home, and to kick 112 individually, is a superb performance. With players like that, sometimes they don't get because they're playing in the lower leagues, people don't see as much of them as probably they should do. And, these lads would probably stand and shine and any of the teams, get their place. They get their place in the top teams in one head, no problem at all. It's 112, some shooting for at any level of football, phenomenal. And, the Summers going along there 82, they're sitting there in the table, and, it'll be interesting just to see what way they continue on. And we'll have to keep our eye out for Stephen, see if he any more big scores like that there, and maybe he would come under the county radar. Like years ago, I suppose not even years ago, so recent years, you had Jamar and Stephen and Paddy Bournes, all who were playing junior football, were all with the county. When I look back in the day, one of the great players that the county had was Joey Donnelly. And Joey Donnelly that's where he played his football at junior level back in the day, and was a phenomenal footballer. So these lads, there's no reason why they can't be looked at brought into the senior squad if they're, if they keep performing like that there.
We'll keep an eye on Stephen C. Can he back it up next week? Now is the big
Yeah.
challenge, I suppose, for him. And the rest of the Division 3 results then, Middletown beat Mullabrack 2-11 to 0-7 on Thomas Davis. They beat Claudy by 10 points, 115 to 1-5. Tommy, thanks very much for coming on and giving us all your thoughts on the games from the weekend. As always, we'll be back hopefully on Thursday with a preview show, and we'll look ahead to the rest of the club games coming up this weekend. So Tommy, best luck. Thanks for coming on and giving us your thoughts.
No problem, Sean. Anytime. Thank you.